punch it.
Go your own way, stones and shadows bite, willows whisper of darkness deep and wide. In the forest there is no place to hide. Strange paths. Tonight I fear that I will not survive the dying of the light.
This is Collective is a group using the Dungeons and Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and compelling stories in a fictional world we've been developing for a while. You can find out more about the collective as well as the stories we're telling at the starfallcollective.com. We're back with a new episode. In the last episode, the party, I don't know, you spent a night that might have been slower in real life than in game. I'm not objecting. It just was. It was. There was a lot of detail happening in that night. It was a pretty pivotal period. Sevek has just arrived with Yoshka, Neno, and Talid at the Black City. They found when they got there Diamondback with his good friend Arasa Nala. They don't know exactly who she is right now, but they understand something about her in relation to the Baisugen. They found also their dragonish friend is here at the town. And Belvari went and, in spite of the lack of magic everywhere right now, found that he found out two interesting things in our last episode, neither of which he seems to have shared yet with others. The first is that the trees are still walking around animated. And the second is that when he went east for quite a while, left the city, went east for, I think, only about half an hour, he was able to use some magic. A similar experiment was tried by Diamondback, Inkatink, and Talid. They went south for a couple of hours, unable to use magic completely, returned to the city, and then on a lark also went east for twice as far as Belvari did, but were still unable to use magic. It was peculiar. Diamondback, they returned. Inkatink was able to, Inkatink decided to go ahead and go to bed, go to sleep, as did Talid. They went back to the main compound, or Inkatink to the tower, perhaps. I'm not sure where he's sleeping these days. And Diamondback stayed the night, preferring instead to go and see what was happening with Arasanala. Going down into her inner works, her inner chambers there, they found a curious phenomenon. She had a kind of safe room, as it were, made of this, in her place. It was just like carved into this black stone place, but it had a secret door, and they found in which the secret, when under conditions, the or did work in her secret room when the door was open or closed. It's been several weeks since we had our last session, so before we get into anything further, I just wanted to ask if any would like reminder, refresher, clarification about anything that you may have slipped your knowledge, or things you think your character probably knows but you missed, or anything like that.
Surely there are, and we're going to discover them mid-play.
No, I'm good.
You all set?
Thanks.
Hopefully that's Pat. Hey, Pat. Still no audio. All right. Josh, do you have anything that you want to ask about?
Yeah, so basically this morning, the morning of gameplay, as we come back, we are setting out to storm the Iron Bell, execute the plan.
That has not been completely established. That was the plan. We will see if that remains the plan. But yes, that the plan would be that this is the morning you would leave. This is the morning of the third day, when you're expecting that the Iron Bell is halfway here from the headwaters, the very large contingent you're expecting, because the forces multiply in size. This is that morning.
Okay.
Matt, anything you're wanting to clarify, especially about the experiment at the end, anything like that?
Basically, what I remember of neither me nor my character could figure it out. And Arasanala did not seem to be able to figure it out either. And so
It
we're
worked
going to have
for
to try something different.
No, so you go ahead if you want to say something here.
Didn't it work when the door was closed, regardless of whether you were on the inside or on the outside?
Right, but what we need is to go somewhere, not to stay here.
So
it's not good
You
enough.
just bring the door.
you rolled like a natural 93 or something really high on your investigation check,
Okay.
Matt. And
Yeah.
so I was talking to one of our anonymous fans who was telling me a little bit more about D&D and how typical DM mechanics kind of work for that. And one of the things he said was that was helpful to me was that the roll is an indicator of what your character would have been able to discern. And so that's something that I should discuss with you, the player, openly, if your character figures something out, rather than letting that come through your understanding that way. That makes sense to me as a reasonable way. But what I was going to say, I was just going to come back and do a minor edit that to what happened last time, which is instead of saying, well, this happened, and having you do the experiment further, here's what Arasanala and Diamondback noticed. This is not super different than what Aaron just said. I didn't know she was, what she was going to say, but is that when the door was closed, whether or not you were on the inside, Arasanala's magic worked when she was on the inside.
Right.
So it seems to fundamentally have to do with protecting Arasanala from some sort of invasive field effect. Because when she is sealed inside, well, I'm just saying this as an amalgam or as an analog of what's actually happening metaphysically with magic. But generally speaking, there's something that's invasive and she's sealed from behind a door.
Maybe, but we pick up our story at morning time. I'm not disagreeing with you, Josh, and you can totally talk about it. Let's do it in the story if there's a good story time to do it. We pick up our story. It is beginning to be light. There's not a specific time of that, but you could think of it if you wanted it like something like 7 a.m. or something. It's beginning to be light. People are waking. Sevek, who is in the compound where all of you are staying, has gotten up and is doing some things in his room and has the door open. If y'all are, whoever's in that compound, if you're moving around, you'll be aware of him kind of being up in the morning.
I'll do his Tai Chi with him.
Okay. Yoshika comes and sits to do his Tai Chi and drink his chai tea and have a good time. Yeah, you want to go in and talk to him? Or
I thought I was sleeping in there.
Oh, were you?
We didn't really clarify.
Yeah, there were just some random rooms around, and he went in there. Belvari went in and just waited and stared at him while he went to sleep.
Yeah.
And then 2 of Diamondback's acolytes went in to trade off watching him through the night.
Yoshika would have done whatever hospitable and polite thing. I didn't clearly imagine the specific building we were in, but I figured I was probably in the same building, if not in the same.
Y'all are in a little compound that spans probably 8 or 10. I don't have the map right in front of me. 8 or 10 little buildings that are house-sized in a city blockish, but it's the middle of a square, right? Like a little intersection that's been walled off. There are plenty of little rooms in these black stone houses, and you just gave him one little compound.
Inkatink, did you sleep in the tower or did you sleep in the compound base?
I think. What's that?
If you were in the base, Nena's first desire for the morning is to get in touch with you and see what she can learn about how off the deep end Diamondback seems to have gone, and if we should be doing, if in your estimation we should be doing stuff with him or stuff separate from him, and this god that he serves. Now that we have a Sevek, and you've met the Sevek, and I've talked you guys up to each other as much as Neto can talk you up to each other. She would be, I don't know how to do this all in character, so I'm just narrating. She would be trying to find out from you if it's possible to introduce Sevek, the most powerful for a person she knows, to Diamondback's mistress, which seems to be the most powerful being around here. Because if they can't be friends, then we need to know that before we head out on a joint escapade.
Yeah, I mean, I think Inkatink probably crashed somewhere near where you were because he went to bed in tatters and pieces with, broken bones. And so he's probably
And at
kind
2
of
a.m. or so.
Right. So he's coming in late, totally busted up. He probably crashes somewhere near Nino, knowing that she's his best shot at getting into one piece before they get out of town, and also just probably wanting to see her. And so in the morning, do you want to ask one of those questions to Inkatink, or how do you want to do that?
Inkatink, the Arasanola, do you like her? Is she good? Is she a friend to us? Is she a friend to the Bell?
Okay, and then he repeats back, do you like her? Is she good? Is she friends? And he's like, do you like her? And I think Inkatink kind of says yes, but in a somber way. Not, full of affection and exuberance, but I think he says she is powerful and fearsome, and she celebrates the deaths of the Iron Bell as much as me and Diamondback. And he's like smiling like, boy, that was a really good answer. He's really, really proud of that answer. We have bad enemies, and she hates them too. He's, of course, saying this, cobbling together words from other people's voices. Do I like her? I don't think that's okay. I don't. And you see him kind of short out a little bit, and you see his feathers puff out. And he says, Diamondback wants family, and I want family, and we need power for family. So she's a good friend because powerful friends are good friends, I think. And he starts looking at Nino, and he starts kind of hearing what he's saying out loud and realizing that she's probably not going to like hearing that. And you see him start to kind of squirm and get a little bit antsy. And you can see that he's pretty uncomfortable because he knows he just said something that, Nino doesn't care about power. Nino cares about friendship and feelings and love, at least in Inkatink's mind. So you see him get really nervous in front of you.
So Nina would reach over and like put her hand on his talon, and then pause, and then say, "Okay, I don't think Sevek knows or understands the Iron Bell, but maybe he should meet Arasanala."
You
And we
see
can decide if they can
You
work
see
together.
Inkatink's eyes get super wide the moment you say that phrase. Maybe they should meet. I'm sure you wouldn't need an insight check to notice that. But what did you say after that immediately?
To see if they can work together.
Right. And you see Inkatink just sternly and slowly, firmly shake his head no. And he says, that is not safe. When your friend came here, I was flying, and I fell out of the sky, boom, boom, and lost my magic. And we walked so far last night down the street out of the city, and then we walked so far into the east woods, and no magic after so much walking, so many broken bones. And you see Inkatink's just kind of staring off into space. He's pretty bummed about losing his magic. And he says, your friend is very powerful, and he is putting out the magic, and Rasanala is magic too, so he should not meet her.
Huh. Well, I think
But
I hear him.
shh, that's a secret. Inkatink is appending suddenly it's firing in his head, all the little Diamondback. Now, this is a secret thing that we're doing here. We have to keep secrets. And you see Inkatink kind of secrets. Shh, but that's a secret. You have to be an honorary Snake Clan member now. Can you do this? Can you have to? Can you do it?
Well, Inky, it looks like you can barely do it. I think I hear Sevek moving around. Let's see. I don't have my magic to heal you. None of my components are working, but maybe Sevek has an idea and we can get you put back together again.
Inkatink nods and looks down at his hand with the broken collarbone on that side because he couldn't really turn the snake inwards. And he's like, yeah, that's good. So he goes off with you.
All right. You go to find Sevek. It's not hard. You know where he was sleeping. And you go in. Sevek is there. Yoshka, you've just come in a minute ago and are, talking to him. And there's a member of the Snake Clan also in his room, just sitting there chatting with you two guys as well. When Neno and Inkatink arrive.
Nino, morning pleasantries. How did you sleep? Hopefully we can get some food in us soon. Hey, my friend Inkatink is really hurting. When we got close, my component magic to fix him. I don't know how to help people without that. Do you have any ideas, Sevek? What can we do for him? I can make him a sling. And she's like fiddling with a corner of her skirt.
In my experience, people over time, rest and get good food and, make sure any wounds are cleaned. Does that not happen here?
No, it does. Why don't we just? I suppose we're all going to get right, so we can get to the headwaters maybe before night.
Does anybody know if that's
Let's go. Come on.
And give me 1 second here.
Inkatink holds up, he tries to hold up a hand and it kind of winces and he puts that one down and he holds up the other one and holds up a finger and says, there might be a problem with that. And I think you should talk to Diamondback because I don't want to be between you and Diamondback for that conversation. No offense. And he kind of steps back and steps behind Nino and sits down.
Okay. Well, let's all. Today is the day to go. Yes.
And Sevek says, excuse me, Sevek says, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Birdman, I forgot your name.
Inkatink.
And I'm not sure, Inkatink, if what we can do for you, but I would be happy to try to dress any wounds you have or give you a splint or something. I will say, though, and he holds his water skin and turns it over and shows you, he said, I could use something to drink. I'm out of water and I've used right around the last of my food that I packed. Also,
how is this city set up? I imagine people keep water in their
water
houses
and jugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, and there's that fountain that makes water.
Mhm.
Also, I'd like to change this bandage. If you recall, he got hurt by one of the spiders in the place. Fell from the ceiling, scraped him really hard, and so he's bleeding. And you bandaged him up, but now it's kind of gross because it's been a long time. So he's just wanting to tend to a few things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good. Let's do what we need to and then head out.
Great. So first, I suppose, where could I get some water?
Oh, don't we have some around here? There should be a jug.
Inkatink offers to show him over to a place where there are several pools of water because there's a spring in the middle of the city, right? So we've got to have little areas where water goes into you can splash and bathe yourself and stuff like that.
Are you going to walk in there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It only takes you a couple minutes from where you are. There's one inside your, compound. You take him over there and he scoops his water in, grabs the, takes his water skin and does it. He notices, and you notice when he does that the water does a very odd, almost boiling sort of thing when he scoops it out, and a lot of black mist comes out of it.
Inkatink's eyes get really huge, and
you're the only one there, Inkatink, right now.
Yeah.
just as you walked him over.
I think Inkatink makes some sort of really loud, like kookaburra kind of bizarre, unique cackle noise that anybody who knows him would recognize that that's him. He's the only being in the city that can make that noise. And so he just does that loudly. So anybody who's within earshot. But yeah, that just totally catches him by surprise.
Neno scampers toward the sound.
That would bring Yoshka out too. What was it?
Sevek says, the water's strange here.
You're strange here, my man.
What
Neno
happened?
pokes her finger in it, tastes it.
No. Inkatink does the cupping motion. Cup it again. Show them.
And he last time he just dipped his flask in, but following Inkatink's lead, he scoops some water in his hands, and as he puts his hands into the water, and also when he pulls it up and there's water in his hands, it's kind of not as you see it now, and as he looks at it a second time, it's not that it's boiling, it's something like frothing. And like steam out of boiling water, the black mist comes out and quickly dissipates.
Neno does the
Inkatink-
same thing. Puts your hands in.
What?
Inkatink-
No, water.
Inkatink grabs 2 containers. One, he asks, what's this guy's name again? Sorry.
Zevek.
Zevik. He asks Zevik to cup some water in his hands, let the steam go out of it, and then pour it into a container. And then he takes another container and he fills it with the water from the source. And he puts stoppers on them for Diamondback's little experiments, because he knows that he probably doesn't have the faculty to figure it all out. But at least now he's got something to give Diamondback. So
Yeah, he does. He happily obliges you to do your thing. And what happens is about in keeping with what has happened.
Does it hurt your hands? Neto asks Zevik.
No, it feels, I don't know. It feels like putting my hand, I don't know how, like putting it into boiling water, but with no heat.
Zevek, you will be the great surprise to the Iron Bell, because you have chased away all of the mist that they draw all of their power from. But it looks like the mist cannot hide from you in the air, but it can hide in the water unless you touch it.
This is the first I have seen of the mist you're talking about. It looks like steam, but it's dark.
If we could find out how to use this.
And by the way, just to say real quickly, when it does that, this steam, quote unquote, the dark steam comes up, but it dissipates like steam and just is gone.
Can Inkatink do magic with that mist?
so
Because you're not there.
That's what Neno was thinking.
I'm
now.
not there.
If we could have a bowl, scoop out some of the bowl, have Zevik put his hand in the bowl so the mist is actively coming up, and then Neno would try and throw some cantrip in, like with her hand like hovering in the mist, just to see what happens. I don't know what cantrips she knows or has available right now.
It's a good idea.
Cantrip, you mean
Something that,
component?
yeah, some the easiest of anything.
And I think Inkatink would try to cast a spell out of that. He would try to absorb the smoke and cast something from his own innate spell casting.
Describe to me so that we can try whatever you're going to try.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
the results might, I have to know what we're actually doing.
Sure. He tries to cast the Prestidigitation Minor Illusion, and he tries to create a blue flame in his hand.
So Sevek has, shaken the water off his hands, but his hands are wet, like, it's just got water on them. But he shakes his hands and stands there, and you try to cast a spell.
Blue electricity, like blue electric plasma kind of stuff, not flame.
Okay. He stands and watches you, Inkatink, as you go Shazam or whatever, and make some hand motions, but as he
Okay.
just stands there watching. He's
Neno,
drying his hands on his pants.
Neno uses a bit of Broadback Falcon Down and a bit of Bone of Split Throat Wren to try cure wounds. So she asks Sevek to put his hand in the pot and just leave it there, so her hands can be in the
little pool that he's drawing from, like a horse trough type of pool. Is that what you mean, or
No, I was envisioning that we'd scooped a bowl
Okay.
out.
so? Here's what we have, just to make sure we're talking about the same things. Sevek has his canteen, that pig bladder or whatever, that he has put some water in. Inkatink has taken 2 such things like wineskins and put them in, and Sevek scoop up water, and when it stopped doing his thing, pour in to the thing, and he's filled it half full or whatever that way. Then he just scooped up another one and put it in. And sorry, and then there's the main trough. If I'm happy for you to have some other bowl or implement,
Yeah.
but that's all we've done so far.
Neno would go and grab Abel and fill it up with water and ask Sevek to put his hand in it to like agitate the magic mist out. And then just leave his hand there until the mist stops coming in. As soon as she sees the mist, then she's going to try and do the cure wounds magic, intending it to be Inkatink focused.
Yep.
To see what happens.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm just going to real quickly check. I just need to understand what the spell says because I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, a creature you touch regains a number of hit points equal to 1d8 plus your spellcasting. Blah, blah. The spell has no effect on undead or constructs. Okay, that's all. That's all it says. So you're going to crush it in one hand with your hand and a little bit of mist coming up, the steam sort of. And the other, the other hand you're going to be touching.
Whatever looks like the wound, yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. The sorry, I'm trying to find my Riverside window. Oh, there it is. Okay. The mist comes up, and it, as you crush the thing, it swirls chaotically. The steam does, but nothing seems to happen to Inkatink. Inkatink, you don't feel anything other than it's touching you.
So does the
So
very same thing, but this time on Zevek's wound.
And with the same effect. And around this time, the sort of roiling of the water has stopped. It's not like super aggressive, but it's like bubbling off of him. Only around, you can see it bubbling off of him, his skin. But it, stops and it seems to be done. And there's no more.
Can we gloss some experimentation and say, like, let's experiment a bunch of different things for an hour, including like, what if we put our hand in the water, but Zevek doesn't touch it because maybe it's still in the water, and then try to with components, with the focus and.
So before any time elapses while we're doing that, Inkatink does immediately go over to one of the 2 acolytes that's always watching Zevek and tells him to go. Okay. Inkatink says, I will assume, keeping Zevek from the tower duty, your responsibility in this moment is to go get Diamondback. This is much more urgent than that. I can hold the fort here. You need to go tell Diamondback to come here because there's magic, smoke stuff happening that Diamondback needs to be part of, and bring it.
Where's my friend?
Bring his alchemy kit.
Neno interrupts as the acolyte is starting to obey and hollers out, "Hey, where's your friend? The one who was with you last night?"
And he calls back over his shoulder. Oh, he went home for a while.
Neno
Cool,
thinks
so
to
well-
herself, that doesn't sound like great obedience to Diamondback. Okay.
Yoshiko will continue experimentation, expecting that we could do this until Diamondback comes and then leave.
Yeah. I just wanted to send off the messenger ASAP. So
Good idea.
Diamondback.
Let's tinker this.
Did you go to sleep last night, or were you up all night experimenting on your own?
I think when the camera pulled away from Diamondback, he and Arasanala were in her inner laboratory chamber, experimenting and trying to figure this thing out. And I think it was probably not dawn yet. And I think what Diamondback was going to do next was, so maybe we won't do this, but Diamondback might have had a conversation with her at that point and maybe gone to talk to somebody else.
Okay. Let's say your acolyte can. Sorry, do you want to do that conversation?
Sure.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can try and do it quickly. Diamondback would say to her, like, point one, I didn't betray your trust. I didn't let the secret out. But, Belvari seems to know, seems to have ferreted out what your nature is. And he's told the others. Because I was there when Belvari was telling Yoshka.
Yeah. And Belvari originally did see her when y'all first found
Like,
her in
I was in the very embarrassing position of telling blatant lies to my friends that they knew were lies right in front of them. So I tell her in the just most abject possible way, like face on the floor, I didn't betray the secret, but they've figured some stuff out. They have a pretty accurate idea of what's going on here. Not my betrayal, not Inkatink's fault. It was because Belvari saw you earlier and he just put two and two together. I try to explain this to her. You can tell me how it goes.
She
Way to get Belvari right underneath the wheel of the bus there, my dude.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Belvari.
Nice. But my dark mistress, Belvari, it was him!
It was.
She sort of literally waves a hand off at you and nods or something, and can barely pay attention to that with what she's experimenting on.
Great. The next thing I say is, wait, actually, does Diamondback will ask her, can I speak freely about you? We're allying with these other people and other forces. Must we maintain this deception?
What deception? Sorry, Jacob. What are you doing? Thanks. This side.
Jacob, please, this is no time for smoothies.
I would just love to see a scene at work of Sir Robert practicing his Queen of the Dead voice when somebody who's on his team walks in.
Heck yes.
All day.
Yes.
What deception?
My lady, your command that I not reveal your existence to anybody in the town.
She thinks for a moment and says, the ones who have needed to know now know. Are there others you wish to tell?
My lady, I wish to do exactly as you would have me do.
It is of no matter to me then, but your acolytes will not respond well to me.
My lady, I think that you and I should speak to the dragon.
And she sort of does this grumbling hiss. This is the first time he's come up maybe ever in your conversations. But she does a sort of grumbling hiss that's not nearly as mean-spirited as animosity, but not nearly as it doesn't have the tone of friendship exact like a that guy.
That's how I feel about him too. Actually, we are on the same page. Yes, my lady, I know that he is quite irritating, but he is very powerful, and I believe that in order to overcome the Iron Bell, we will need his help. And how we will get there.
She says, I know also I cannot defeat the coven on my own or with your clan, but and she says his name really belabored, must be there as well.
Then perhaps he can help with our current trouble.
We can speak to him.
May I attend?
You shall show me the way.
Very well, my lady. Follow me.
So that'll be the end of that bit of conversation. While you were in there, Diamondback, I'm going to just say a few things and you can, whatever.
Take notes.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm going to say a few things, and you can whatever. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is D&D in a nutshell.
That was me directly quoting Newton in his Drink of the
You think he's joking, but...
So, Diamondback, here are a couple of things that y'all experimented on, and she tried, and some results. When you were enclosed in her sanctum, whatever, she was able to scry, but could see nothing in the city except for you and her. A couple other things. Sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta do that, and then that's what I was looking for. There it is. Cat. You know, or no, not blur. I'm sorry, blink spell.
I think I missed part of that. You glitched out. Can he cast?
She cast the blink spell.
Okay.
You know that spell?
Mm-hmm.
And when she did, she blinked, right? As it's a spell that takes you to another plane and then shifts you back and forth. When you opened the door, she no longer blinked. But when you closed the door, she did again.
Where did you go?
The spell, I'll just tell you, let's read to you. This is
It's like
for
to another plane of existence.
Yeah, it's for Aaron Droid, not Neno, obviously. But it just says at the roll a d20 at the end of each of your turns or higher, so 50-50. You vanish from your current plane of existence and appear in the ethereal plane. The ethereal plane is, if you think of the Lord of the Rings, it's where Bilbo is when he puts the ring on his finger and he sees everything in foggy sort of mist. It's sort of like that, and everything's incorporeal, everything on the material plane, but you can kind of know it and then pop back in.
But she really did get there.
She blinked back and forth.
Okay.
At which this is every few seconds, there's a 50-50 chance that you'll go. So the plane this spell just kind of randomly pops you back and forth in your current location between the two. Frodo taking the ring on and off type of thing. And she did, and she was just blinking. And then when Diamondback opened the door, she was there and did not blink anymore.
Okay.
It lasts for a minute. In the last quarter minute or so, he closed the door again and she blinked once or twice more and then stopped because that's how long the spell lasts. I'm just telling you a couple that were of note in your experimenting, Diamondback. Let's see. Also, she cast a healing spell on herself. She wasn't wounded or anything. She just cut herself and then healed it. It worked. She didn't have a problem with that.
Inside the room or outside the room?
When you're in with the door closed, which is the only time magic was working. And then, sorry, one sec. Let's do one more. So I'll give you just a sec here. You know what? Diamondback. She arches an eye at you and says, I got to check one thing to make sure. Okay. And she says to you, would you like to do a very thorough experiment?
No, I am yours, my lady.
And she says, okay, there we go. Yeah. She says, I will say a word to you, and you will fall dead. And if it works, I will raise you again. She's sort of grinning at you.
This is definitely a test. And
That's a bold move, Cotton. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how this works out for him.
We're going to roll a wisdom saving throw to see if Diamondback... Well, I don't actually know. What does Matthew think is the right thing to do?
No, you were already doing what Diamondback would do. And then Matthew started thinking.
Yeah, Diamondback just says, my lady, if it would serve the interests of the Snake Clan, I will be slain by you.
Oh, if she kills him and does not bring him back, she has got a mortal enemy in Neno.
Boy, let's really hope she can stick the landing on this one.
If Neno ever even found out what happened.
A Diamondback sort of expects that if she kills him and raises him, then he will be like more powerful than he was before. It'll be a meta. He might come back as a snake.
She leans forward and says, there are not many necromancers who experience life again. It is a rare opportunity, and there is much for you to learn. So, and she leans really close to you. She's, remember, like 7 feet tall, right? She's way
huge.
Up she says, so pay attention. And she leans really close to you and says, and then whispers into your ear, understand. And you collapse to the ground. Sometime later, you are not sure exactly how long, we get the actual. Here, you are on the floor of her black chamber, and you start hearing her voice saying some kinds of things. And then your eyes slowly open and you awaken as she is standing over you, moving her hands, speaking, and doing some magic. And then you feel you just feel this surge of warmth, whereas you were cold like the stone below you. You feel a surge of warmth like a fire push out to your skin from the inside. You're tired, and just reading from the spell itself, coming back from the dead is an ordeal. The target takes a -4 penalty to attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. And every time you finish a long rest, it's reduced by 1 until that disappears. So 4 long
Could you
rests.
say that again? Attack rolls.
Yeah, it's just the text of the Raised Dead spell, but attack, saving throws, and ability checks. Each long rest, that diminishes by 1.
So I'm exhausted.
You're very tired from this. She's, you have no wounds. It's cured things that it can cure, and so forth. So, but
Okay.
This
is not the kind of resurrection where I have to roll my my race.
That's not what this says.
Okay,
I'm just
that's a
reading
different one.
Reading Raised Dead.
There's a different one.
Right. Reincarnate.
That's reincarnation I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah. So
Okay.
My guy's
Good.
coming back as a tuna. Gonna be pretty awkward for him on the land, gonna say.
Okay, but wait, did I get any mystical necromantic insight? Can I roll for mystical necromantic insight or new spells or anything?
sure, roll me a mystical necromantic insight check.
All right.
Can you and
Roll.
Matt do an entire interstitial episode that's basically like a Black Panther cutscene where like Diamondback is walking the ancestral plains and like learning voodoo and stuff?
The movie or the activist group?
Yes.
Arcana is
I haven't seen
3.
either.
Minus
Just
4.
a regular D20.
15 plus 3 for Arcana is 18.
Minus
level are
4 for being
four.
Minus 4. No, because I didn't get the penalty yet while I was dead. While I'm scoping out my mystical death experience.
Technically, I think he's got him on a technicality.
Is negative 100.
And Rule Zinger.
It's up to you,
What
Sir
level
Robert.
are you at?
I'm a level human wizard level 6.
Okay. Yes, I will tell you something that you will discover, but I can't do it right now.
Okay.
Okay, now, Matt, some time goes forward. Y'all have experimented, you figured your stuff out or whatever. An acolyte comes and finds you haggard and worn and says, Master Inkatink said that I should come and get you. There's something strange, some magic and water. I didn't understand.
I go with the acolyte.
Diamondback
Slowly.
arrives. Diamondback arrives. Y'all have been experimenting for about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. He arrived and,
On
With
the
the
way, I stop and slowly, laboriously form the motions of the Eternal Flame spell and attempt to cast it on my shoulders.
You try, and it has no effect, but your heart has a certain music in it.
I continue following my acolyte.
All right. So you get there. You guys, it's been 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Diamondbacks arrives. Y'all done some experiments, and basically what you found so far is the water seems to do a kind of weird boiling thing. It doesn't get hot. It's not like actually boiling. The steam mist is not, it's acting just like steam. You still can't cast spells. The water that's flowing, this trough isn't like fixed. It's got a little bit of water that flows through it. So it's kind of like coming in. When he's put his hand in there, it'll just continue to bubble off of him aggressively, like, pretty aggressively. It's not like little tiny a bubble up to the top. But when you scoop some out into a bowl and he puts his hand in, it stops after a little bit. Diamondback, you arrive. You see them doing stuff at about 7:30 in the morning. What you see is Sevek is there. He's mostly dressed, but not like out in his adventuring garb. He just seems to have just come here. Pants, that's exactly. He's got a gi on or whatever. So I don't exactly know what Tai Chi pants are, but I'll take it. So he ends up, he's standing there talking with them and more or less seems to be good natured, them doing whatever they tell him to do. He doesn't really understand, except from what you glean as you walk in, he's, one might even say mystified by this blackness coming out of the water. What you see is Inkatink is there. Somewhere near Inkatink's feet is a partly filled wineskin type of container that's just like partly filled on the ground, and another one that is bloated full. The wineskin is just completely full, like a balloon. And then you see that Neno is talking with Sevek, and so is Yoshika.
Nano was simultaneously trying to bandage his whatever arm he is and dipping in the water for experimental purposes.
Yeah, so he lets you do that. Do you have a bandage? Just describe that process to me.
My skirts are an unlimited supply of
little strips of stuff.
Yeah,
So you pull the strip, you pull his bandage off, and
take some.
Do what with it?
Take some of the water, just straight out of the container, straight out of the trough with my hands. So mist-laden water, and use it. Pour it on the wound and try and wipe off whatever scabbing doesn't look well attached.
And what do you do you take the bandage off? What do you do with the bandage?
I drop it at my feet.
Okay. And you pour the water on the wound.
Mm-hmm. Goal is to get any dirt, particulates off the wound, and then I would rip a strip and bandage it up again.
Yeah, you clean it, you do that. It seems to be just like last time. Nothing special or crazy.
Does the water mist his arm?
Yeah, it bubbles as it pours down him,
So
like
it's not a
hydrogen
magic
peroxide.
hands thing. Okay.
We can loop the bandage into the experiments too, dipping it in water and see what happens if it's like his blood.
We should hold it up in the sun.
But
and see
and
if
we'll
anything
just
magic
we'll just
happens
catch
in the
Excuse me.
shower.
we'll be like, Diamondback, look at this, and show him what we've been seeing and catch him up and be like, it's time. We need to head out this morning, but if we can find a way to get our magic back before we see the Iron Bell.
You dip the thing in, and it does agitate a lot. The bandage does agitate a lot, and like the boiling kind of thing, and the blood in it kind of dislodges and floats down to the other side out the drop, boiling as the water boiling as it goes.
What do you think, Diamondback?
Diamondback would like to help with this investigation.
Cutting.
Yoshka would probably actually want to help Diamondback because he thinks Diamondback is smarter than him.
And Inkatink would like to make an Arcana
so-
check in tandem with that insight.
But you take one look at Diamondback and you see that something has happened to him since you last saw him, and that he's extremely tired,
Tired.
too tired to stand up. He can barely even stand up. He's like leaning on his acolyte, and he's got sort of a vacant look in his eye. And maybe it would be best for Diamondback to help Yoshka.
Oh, yeah.
At this point.
I've never seen a hangover this bad. Did you sleep at all?
My friend, I have drunk a better wine than you know.
Yoshka, disgusted by that, turns and looks for who he thinks is the next smartest person.
Barf, I hate it.
Maybe. I don't think establishment.
Well, you do some experiments of some kind. I will let whoever wants to roll it.
So I'm suggesting, I was trying to subtly suggest that Diamondback would help somebody take the help action, and then somebody else
got
would
that.
get. Okay, great.
Yeah,
I was just trying to pick whoever had
the
the
highest.
biggest.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's not Diamondback right now.
So, may I?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
saw.
Inkatink got a 20 for his Arcana check to figure out what the deuce is going on. And I would like to solve that by taking a needle and puncturing a hole in the bladder that's all puffed up. And I want to do some sort of experiment with what I assume is the mist jetting out and like cast a spell into it or something.
I'll let it be that, but it's an investigation check, just to say.
Is there
tell
no
me what you
Arcana?
do, and I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. Well, I got a 20 Arcana check to try to suss out the situation. That was just flavor. I rolled a 17 plus 3.
Gotcha.
20.
Okay. Sounds good. So what is it you want to do?
So Inkatink wants to experiment with the smoke in the bladder that's all puffed up and try to do a 20 Arcana check to try to figure out what on earth is going on.
What I'm saying is you don't get to pick the check you're doing and such. You tell me what Inkatink's doing, and I'll tell you how that works out, right?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So those are the things Inkatink's doing. How do I figure that out?
Yeah, great. What's your investigation bonus?
It is +0.
Okay, it's great. So you have a sharp little claw or quill or whatever the things you have, which is totally fine. And you puncture the bag, and very rapidly it deflates. You can, if you want, have had some components ready. You put your hand on there; they don't do anything. With a 17 investigation, what you notice is that you had pretty much filled the bag, but it's not full. It has lost water, though none of the water came shooting out. It has water in it still. It's just less, a little less than it had.
Okay.
Maybe 15%.
Yeah,
Some
Inkatink
of the
communicates
water
this
is
to the group.
mist. The headwaters. Those rivers, they must bring the mist out here.
There was no mist in the water of Zevek's land. And there was no mist when we were following the streams through the wall tunnel into the hole. And we were tramping right through water there.
We need to blow up the headwaters?
If we blow up the headwaters, we get rid of all mist. I mean, if that's our goal.
Well, I think we just need to go there first and we'll see what to do. There's so many things we don't know.
But if there's a big problem, we have to make a big fix? Or we
So
run
Sebek-
away?
Sorry, Sebek, real quickly, because he mostly is paying attention to what you're saying, Jared. What Yoshika is saying. He doesn't really quite get your relationship to Diamondback and Inkatink. And as far as he can tell, you and Neno, Yoshika and Neno and Talit are all more or less of one mind, right? So he's just happy to using be the person who's like guiding, steering him. He's your guest. He's here. You have said stuff about going, and so he says, I'm gonna go get dressed and get my pack. I'm happy to do whatever you like, but the sooner we get to gardening, or this is what I came for. I came to teach you all some gardening. But the sooner we do that, then the happier we'll all be, perhaps. I think there's no usually better way to find just peace within and without than to order your space and garden well.
Sounds good.
He goes off while y'all stay here and talk. He just, he's going to the house right there. And
No,
he's
no,
getting
tries-
stuff.
Neno tries to translate for Inkatink and Diamondback what she understands Sevek to be meaning by gardening. Because I don't think we've had that conversation yet, have we? Explained. So Zevek is a humble man, but he's master of a vast land. And he takes care of the land and has taught the people in the land to take care of the land. And consequently, they have a beautiful and peaceful life. We told him that the masters of our lands do not take care of us, and our lives are not peaceful. And he agreed to come and try to teach them how to garden like he gardens. As far as I can tell, he has no interest in destroying the coven. He wants to train them to make the world beautiful like his world, like his land.
But I don't think we'll get to that. He did kill a madman who wouldn't stop attacking us with some magic I have never seen. He won't only talk.
I think Inkatink whips his hat at him and is like disintegration?
So both Neno and Aaron Joy aren't sure that he killed that man. He tied them together, and then he did something, and the man fell to the ground. And our threat was alleviated, and we kept walking.
I remember him as like falling to the ground lifeless.
Okay. Maybe. I'm willing. Neno hopes that he is willing for time. Is less confident of that than you are.
He seems at least willing to incapacitate.
True. Yeah.
Okay, Diamondback,
Diamondback.
are you ready? I thought we could go to the dragon and head out. Maybe we could all take a ride on it. Do you want to invite Arasanala? I'm sure there's room.
Diamondback. Diamondback has just received some very new information, which he's actually doing all right processing, but he says, I'm sorry,
No, you're not.
Did somebody just say that there is a land where the Iron Bell do not rule?
Yes, Zevek's land. There are no Iron Bell in Zevek's land. They have metal that they get to use for tools to cultivate the ground and grow food. And there are no beasts to threaten, and there are no half-dead beings to harangue. It's a land full of life. There's life everywhere, and not fear. This is Zevek's land. This is the kind of land we would love to turn into.
Diamondback is
But all
like,
of that we can sort out later.
we were there and you came back here.
We came back here because this is our city.
Diamondback, I want to save all of these people who live here.
No one we know has had a good life. Everyone in a gardened land is having a good life. How could we abandon you, our friends, and our family and our extended family and all the harassed strangers under the thumb of the bell? We couldn't abandon. So instead, he came with us.
You have been very benevolent.
We have been very self-interested. We want a good world.
Why would we not take all of these people, the weak people and the children, those who are not warriors? Why would we not take them into this garden land and then build up an army there and come back to conquer?
And it's at this point Zevek returns. He's packed and ready.
Okay, let's head out. And Yoshka starts going with him towards the dragon.
Zevek, having heard nothing of this conversation at all, just follows Yoshka.
I think
he's
I think
okay.
Inkatink steps up and like puts a hand up in front of Yoshka and says, "No, that was a good question. It was a question of power and tactics. Are those not good things to talk about?"
Yeah, let's talk about it on the way.
I will meet you. I will meet you there, I suppose, and I will bring my lady if she will come.
Talid, Bovari, Toll, are you going to go get them, or what's going to happen here? Yoshka, Zeno.
I think I'm gonna be following Diamondback because
Because of your conversation before.
You're an acolyte now.
yeah, apparently.
So yeah, you
That would go well.
you go with you follow Diamondback. Is that all right with you, Diamondback?
Yeah.
Oh, Inkatink immediately begins regurgitating the litanies of the teachings of Diamondback and the ways and the bylaws and he starts taking him through the 12-hour oral course that you have to go through to be ready to take that kind of thing. Yeah.
He's indoctrinating you.
Yes.
Diamondback.
Probably
Sorry.
in Diamondback's voice.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like an
Pat says
audiobook.
that Pat says that Toll also goes with Diamondback. Bovari, do you go with Neno, Yoshka, Sevek, or do you go with Diamondback, Inkatink, and Talon?
Belvari will go with the group of people from the town.
Okay, so Yoshka and Neno are going to go with Sevek, and y'all are all going to meet at the dragon. That's fine. Okay, so it's been a couple minutes, and you go and meet at the dragon.
Just real quick, we have. I think that the Snake Clan has among its possessions something like a litter. I believe at one point Diamondback was having himself carried on a litter.
Palanquin?
A palanquin. The Arasanala is in there. She's not visible to outsiders. She's being carried. Jacob's character has not seen her. Inkatink and Diamondback went in to get her in the palanquin, bring the palanquin up, hand it off to some acolytes, and that's how we go.
Okay.
Actually, Jacob's
So you've got 11
character-
acolytes holding up this thing to march with her, and you've got you and Inkatink and Talid and Toll and Belvari are traveling in a group here.
Yes, but
to go to the dragon.
Sure.
Takes you 10 minutes. Now we're there. We're at the dragon. That's great. That sounds good. None of that's problematic for me.
Well, she is huge, so you might say, actually, you guys don't have a palanquin big enough for that.
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay, great.
But she is big. She's maybe 400 pounds of just raw snake muscle flesh.
At this point, it is almost 9 o'clock on the dot. Would this be an appropriate time to take a 10-minute pause?
Let's do it. Let's take 2 5-minute breaks consecutively.
Sweet.
I'm a much bigger fan of those. Thank you.
Hey, Sir Robert.
Matt, the speaker is in the kitchen behind me. I literally turned my body to see you.
Oh, sorry.
That must mean you
That's
need to
all right.
visit us.
I do need to visit you after
What's
I've
up,
bought
Matt?
my house sometime next year. So Robert, Diamondback wants to have a very quick secret conversation with Arasanala.
We can step out.
Sure, just for a minute. He's literally short of it. That's the size. It's 5 feet by 5 feet. And it's got a grow lamp and air cleaning and all that. Okay, so just so you know, I added that.
Yes, I will.
I think it's already shared with you.
Is it Christmas and Starfall?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay.
I just reused it.
Yeah, great.
And then, so these are roughly in order, but they're not any kind of cost order. They're just preference order.
How should they clean the balls in the ball pit? So I can tell
You have to do it tomorrow?
No, but it's the next couple days.
I will tell you. Okay, I'm ready, Matt.
Diamondback would like to tell Arasanala that he has just figured out that there is this land called Garden Land, and in it there's no such thing as the Iron Bell, and people are not constantly under the threat of death. And wouldn't that be a better place to restart the Snake Clan and build up a glorious empire of awesome, deathless, necromantic immortality, and to do the whole plan than in this miserable place? And why would we fight the Iron Bell here when we can just relocate and get out of danger? And then, you know, I can lead a mission to come into this place to steal back the Snake Clan artifacts that are still here, if there are any. But the base of operations can be in this peaceful territory that's not controlled by the Iron Bell. You know, maybe we don't need to fight the Iron Bell after all. If we can escape from them, wouldn't that be better?
She has 2 questions for you, or 2 things to say. One is, she says, where is this place?
He says, I don't know. It's wherever Zevek came from.
And is there magic there?
Diamondback says, I don't know. Maybe there is no magic there.
And so she kind of shrugs, indicating like, well, that's a big factor.
Right.
And
No
then
magic,
2,
no necromancy.
yeah, and no resurrection from the dead for a lich and stuff like that.
Right.
And number 2, so she's open. She hears what you're saying, but really inconclusive for her. Number 2 is, she says, this land will be as it was again. Rid ourselves of the coven.
Yes, my lady. Is the
Do you understand what she was saying there?
yeah that it was snake people territory, and before the coven came, and she wants to take it over again.
And she has, at least once, you've heard her, maybe a couple of times, maybe reiterating right now, referred to the accursed gloom of these trees.
Diamondback's with her on that one.
That's all.
Okay.
So she basically, she's kind of like receptive, but you haven't really brought enough information to make a full case for her to think about it that way.
Yeah. Maybe he'll bring up with her just so that she's not doesn't think that he's betraying her or anything. He'll ask her beforehand.
Yeah.
What if, you know, as part of the military maneuvers that we're about to be making, instead of taking all these non-combatants with us to the headwaters, maybe we can send a contingent back to where Zevek's from so that they can be safe.
She doesn't care about them.
Okay.
She's like, well, I don't know why you're talking to me. You're a random farm.
Fair.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to mute. I'll be back in a sec. Hey, back in the salad again.
Salad.
You know that song, Matt?
Nope.
Which one is that?
Back on the Salad Again by Greg Pendelay on Amazon Music.
This is commercial. One moment.
This is it.
Isn't that Back in the Saddle again?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. This is surely a line from the song Anywhere by which I mentioned to somebody at work about 6 months ago. But he was like, "Whoa, you know King Missile?" And I was like, "No, for the guy who knew King Missile." That's all. Cool. Yeah. We're almost ready. Pat and Dwight, are y'all back?
What for?
Good call, Dwight.
Pat's back.
Leading the people.
And what?
Somebody ought to. Good call, Dwight. Leading the people. Somebody ought to.
Did somebody say that?
Yeah, Dwight said he's not going with either party. He's going to go with all of the townspeople.
Sure. Just put it in the fridge when you're done.
All right, you ready? Elliot?
Dwight joins the contingent of mutes, and there are a few townspeople that have taken up vows of silence that live with the mutes, and he goes with them.
So
I can't tell if he's agreeing with you or not here to contradict.
Dwight, say nothing if you agree, and this is what you want your character to do. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
So
You guys, I'm really enjoying playing this game of an imagination with you.
you too, Josh.
Thanks for letting me join your podcast, guys.
Sure, but if the other people come, you have to hide.
I already have a spot picked out between my backpack and Matthew's backpack underneath the table. I have some snacks hidden down there just in case, so I can keep listening.
Okay, but don't take the good snacks.
I didn't. I just took the goobers. Nobody else liked them.
oh my goodness sakes.
Big goober.
So just an FYI, in case it's hard to slide into the conversation, Nino will to do some version of all of those experiments anytime there's a chance along our route to get into some water that's underground.
I was going to say, really, it seemed like you should have been the one dominating that last bit of story arc because you are the water person among us.
Okay, so real quickly, you wanted to say what?
Nino is going to take advantage of any chance there's an underground water source or access to water underground to do the same experiments all over again and just see what we learn.
All right. So y'all are at the Dragon. You guys arrived there 5 minutes later, 8 minutes later, and then about 10 minutes after you, 10, 20 minutes after you, Diamondback and all arrived. It's 10 o'clock. The gang's all here, including Belvari at this moment. We're ready to make good on our exodus from the city. All of the leaders of the various groups of people in the town have made their way. They had made their way to the compound, which they're always welcomed in, and have now followed you to the Dragon. The leaders have. and are trying to put together the stuff you're saying, Yoshka. They have pretty good clarity about Diamondback's plan, and he rolled some amazing persuasion rolls to convince them to go. They did not work, but through a series of internal debates, the people managed to just barely tip on the side of following Diamondback's lead. But now you're saying something a little different, probably charismatically.
Am I?
You're talking about just you and your friends going with the dragon to the headwaters.
What were? Sorry.
They were going to lead all of the able-bodied men of the town up to the headwaters to lay a siege, to assault it.
Oh, take all of our people and attack. I thought they were
They were
going to
taking
run away.
150 people.
Oh, okay.
They were going to lead an onslaught against the capital, the headwaters.
Yeah,
And
an
to
army.
They lead it.
Okay.
Diamondback
Yoshka
is suggesting.
I just thought I remembered something else. I thought they were all gonna go be refugees somewhere.
The half of them are the children in the infirm, and most of the matrons of homes and villages who are good at caring for them well are going to tend to them, food and work and stuff. So 150-ish of the people are going that way, and 150 are the ones who fought at the last siege of the Black City, who are going to go with you to assault the headwaters.
Okay.
So it's just the leaders who are here now, not all the villages, but they report to you, everybody's ready, and then they hear a little bit of stuff they're not expecting about you're going to fly away on the dragon, but they don't seem alarmed. They're just
Okay. Well, I suppose we should. Maybe the dragon should stay with everybody to kind of protect us then.
so we're going to just elide a little bit and fast forward to Diamondback et al. Have arrived, and the gang's all here. Let's figure out your plan, and we can do what we want to do.
Diamondback
Okay.
would like the dragon to stick its ear or one eye or something into the palanquin, so that Arasanala does not have to be seen by everybody in order to talk to the dragon.
Ask whatever it is you would like to ask of him.
Do you know how Arasanala can go?
No, I mean what you want him to do.
Oh, with the dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hello, dragon. I have here someone you may know as Arasanala. She cannot be seen by all here. If you would, draw close to have a quiet word with her.
He swings his giant head around, with, certainly larger than the litter itself, the palanquin she's in, but he can rest his next to it.
Okay.
And everybody can talk to him from both sides, and his ear is right there, and she could easily talk to him that way if she wanted to.
So I ask him.
And also he's himself a fair bit as he does so, but that's his way.
Great dragon, you who have proved so useless in the past, whose information has been so poorly conveyed, I ask you again for probably no reason.
By this time in Diamondback's speech, Inkatink has verbally chided him 3 or 4 times. Like, no.
Inkatink is elbowing Diamondback.
Yeah, yeah.
That we have a problem, which is that Arasanala's magic does not seem to work right now. I think we can't figure out what's going on. there's some mysterious phenomenon happening that we have done many experiments and failed to discover it. But do you know if we get to the headwaters and she's still in this state, how can we win the battle?
He blinks a big eye at you, Diamondback, as you stand there, and y'all can hear him say this too, but he says, he says, it is a mystery to me what is happening. But I agree with you on this. The condition afflicting Allah is quite hilarious.
I agree with you, Diamondback, on this. Your boss is mock worthy. Okay.
No. That's false. That's incorrect.
He kind of swings to you and says to Yoshka,
It's all very serious and
what now?
important.
What now?
Well, I suppose we should head out, and everybody on the way. I am sorry, I did not know we would all be going together, but on the way, our good friend Zevek, who is from Dasan and is perhaps the only one of us as old or older than the great
Good.
here. Zevek has the interesting power, should I call it? Well, he seems to be taking away all of the mist. And so
There's a murmur in the crowd of leaders.
I am sure some of you have noticed this already, but we have found the mist disappeared when Zevek came. And while this may be felt as an inconvenience to some, rest assured, it will be felt as a great inconvenience to anyone who relies as heavily on magic as the Iron Bell.
And you hear as you talk, random of the leaders, there's a dozen leaders, but random ones, one pipes up. My components haven't been working. Another one pipes up. The mist is gone. And another one pipes up. Someone stole some of our water. And other things like that.
Yes, we must all, as we travel, we must try to find how to work with this best. We have found that when Zevek puts his hands in the water, some of the water disappears, as if it was perhaps the Iron Bell has been sending the mist out through the rivers.
Garriott steps forward and says, interesting, but what of the infirm?
I don't understand.
Those of us who aren't able to go and participate in war.
I think
We were going to go through the teleportation circle with them, but it doesn't work.
yes. We have found that once Zevek gets far enough away, it will work. So they can wait there, and as long as there is someone to do the math after we leave, they will be fine.
Inkatink speaks up. Inkatink steps forward and speaks up and says, Zevek should go ahead, and the majority should be behind. We should have guards in front and behind.
Yes, perhaps could give him a ride ahead, and we could very quickly sort this out even before you all depart. I'm sure it would be good to see your people safely departing.
And FS, FTH.
Okay.
Close. Anyway, his head is resting on the ground, but he sort of makes a growling like assent and clatters his scales a little, then lifts his head up a little so his jaw can move, and says,
I can take this strange one.
and then he indicates the direction. Y'all all basically know where the headwaters is, but none of you's ever been there, but you know the direction. He says,
I can take this strange one ahead quickly. Would you have us go and wait?
I suppose so.
if y'all are amenable to that, then Sevek is happy to go, and he, Dragon has him hop on.
Yoska.
Wait a sec. We're not going to send the Zevik and the dragon just away from the rest of our parties with their. No, let's not do that.
You're right. We
We
need to
need
give them
something.
the lich too, just so that everyone, all the powerful people, get sent to the Iron Doll first to die. How's that sound?
Perhaps just an hour. Well, perhaps for you, Great Dragon, 10 or 20 minutes fly ahead, and then we will catch up.
He's totally amenable. He's plan that y'all want. He has no idea what to do with Zevik, so he doesn't have any. He doesn't understand what's happening.
Let's set up a signal. He flies 10 minutes, and if he sees smoke rising from a fire that will start, then he flies some more. And if he still sees smoke, then he flies another 10 minutes. That way we can signal him, oh, you've gone far enough away, the teleportation circle is working now. Now we'll come to meet you.
And smoke 30 minutes away, does he come back?
Sure,
like-
yeah.
30-minute flight speed is not enough distance for our teleportation circles to kick in. Then we need a new plan.
Shouldn't Zevek stay here or stay behind? Because
No, the point is to get Zevek far away.
From the teleportation circle.
And where are we using the teleportation circle to go?
We're to evacuate the people who can't fight.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, getting back to what I like to affectionately call the peanut theory, if Zevek is in the front pole and Arasanala is in the back pole, and we distribute troops and people appropriately to protect the weak and the infirmed, but also have some sort of martial body in the front as well, then we can kind of skew, or we could skewer both problems.
Belvari has relevant information here. Dwight, I don't know if you want to share it or not.
No, he does not know.
Last night I went, 30 minutes away from Zevik, walking, and was able to transform into a unicorn.
Oh, great. It should be quick then.
So that was a token thing, right? Your token magic worked a half an hour away from him?
Some that away. Wasn't token specifically. You would know that you were not very far past the city. It took you half an hour to get a little bit into the forest area. From the main gate of the city. You went towards the headwaters.
And also the trees seem to still be walking around.
So the indication you get, guys, is that if you go about from the front gate, if Sevek goes 20 minutes away from this front gate, y'all should be able to do magic. That is what Bavari is saying.
Okay. Well, let's try it. Just real quick.
Sevek
Yeah, we'll
climbs
try
up.
the 30-minute thing.
Okay. After this, you are ready. You try your magic, but you send up smoke. After 10 more minutes, you send up more smoke, and after 10 more minutes, it's now been 30 minutes. There still is no magic here. What do you do?
We send up more smoke to call them.
The signal to come back.
Yeah.
It's been 30 minutes, an hour, a total of an hour has passed now. The dragon returns and with Zevek, and it didn't work.
Diamondback spends that time thinking, trying to investigate and puzzle through what's happening.
And do the others of you as well? Roll me
Nobody
a.
just says, what if Zevek goes back home and we go kill the Iron Bell?
So right, I couldn't make that out. Say it again.
And then y'all should just assault the Iron Bell.
Do you think we have stronger magic than the Iron Bell? He is our greatest surprise. I will go even if we have to fight only. That seems a better chance to me than to go throw our magics against their magics. They have been collecting the most powerful magics in all the lands since you were born.
Anybody who wants to try to understand why the magic didn't work, just tell me, and you can initiate advantages and stuff. Who's interested?
Me. Yep.
For all of you two?
Everybody.
Okay. All of you just roll your investigations.
Well done.
Does that mean I rolled with advantage? All right. Investigation.
I got 18.
13.
What do you have? 6, 5, and what was yours, Matt?
7 plus 6 minus 4 is 9.
Okay. You
I got a
only when you had
41.
Whoa.
Sorry, 14. 14. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. 4 and 1. Only Yoshka. Yoshka, you had an 18. You have an inkling of something, and you say, 18 is pretty good. You say, in your own voice, everybody, but why would Sevek's entire land have no magic? Not just a radius from him. That's, you have this kind. You're putting some stuff together.
Yeah.
He left here, but but there's still no magic happening here.
Perhaps. Why would Zevek's entire land have no magic? Perhaps he leaves a trail like a snail. Oh, I gotta remember that line.
I relate to the assembled group that me and Inkatink went really far into the woods where Zevek had not yet been, and magic still didn't work.
So tell them what you're going to say, because I need to hear what you're telling them. Can you just even in one sentence, just nice and concise?
Yeah. Inkatink and I traveled quite far to the south, and magic did not work. And then again to the east, where,
Matt.
as far as we know, I know, like south and east are not real.
No, it's fine. Matt, are you, Matt, trying to give a full and accurate account?
Yes.
You have left out a detail, and I don't know if that's on purpose.
It's not on purpose.
Okay.
Matthew's trying to give a full and complete account.
So then I'll say Talib chimes in, because you, Inkatink, and Talib went.
Oh yeah, Talib was there too. Because he wants me to make his head talk, but I can't because there's no magic.
Oh.
So Inkatink
Maybe
and
Yeah. What did Yoshka? What? Maybe what?
Maybe it spreads to people. Maybe he got slime on him.
Inkatink whimpers.
Tyler, what are you wearing?
How come I was able
Are
to?
you carrying all your stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I have the clothes I got from the land and the sash and the little medallion thing, the daggers that he gave me and the sling.
And what are you?
I think that's it.
So
Maybe
is everybody
a pack
equipped
with
and
some
ready?
Actions. Yeah.
Okay. Remind me, what are you wearing? Are you wearing Yoshika clothes with your newly dried pants, or this? Just tell me what you're wearing.
The
Or you two,
gardener,
no.
the gardener the nice foreigner's outfit with the gardener hat.
Okay. You have your gardener hat, your weapon. I forgot what weapon you have,
It's a long spear
and maybe a sling or a bow.
and a bow. Yeah.
And you have your map equipment and the backpack.
Yep.
And the whatever. And what do you have?
I'm wearing the from Zevek's land, but I've wrapped my own skirts around me.
Mhm.
I
And
have,
your pants.
yep. I have the veil and the new water-based decor sewn into my hair.
What's the water-based decor?
I didn't get map tools. I got beautiful things from the land.
Right.
And I have the scythe, and I have a distance arranged thing.
What's going on the dragon? All of us who are with Zevek.
Sure.
Maybe everyone who touched Zevek?
The dragon takes the three of you and Zevek and fly. You want to repeat the same experiment for this hour, right? The same thing. He leaves for a little while. You guys are not in the compound right now, but you do find that as you go, the magic returns, but not in the compound, which is fortunately where the
That's the
teleportation
circle
circle is.
Okay. Where does it return?
Just around other places in the city.
What if the teleportation circle door is closed?
What'd you say?
What if the teleportation circle door is closed?
Yeah, that gate, that kind of fence around it, or mesh or cage, I should.
Yeah.
Does it work?
No.
I suppose when we come back and find that out, Yoshiko will be like, well, let's clear out all of his stuff. Maybe, where did his bandage go?
I think we threw it in the river.
Okay. Well, let's just look and see if we left anything of his stuff and then try it once more, and then doesn't work. Maybe we do this a different way. Maybe we find a different circle to use.
Wait, I mean, we can make a circle anywhere, right? You don't have to. Do you have to have a circle to go between circles? Okay.
If you have the spell, you can, but y'all don't have that spell.
That's right. That's right.
And it takes a year.
These are permanent circles.
Yeah.
Diamondback's been asleep for a while at this point.
Okay. It's about noon. Here's what you have found. I'm going to use northeast, southwest just for language, but you know. In your set of experiments, it's noon to early afternoon, 12:30. When Sevek left with the dragon, there was no magic in the city. You know, for where you're trying your stuff. When the three of you guys left with Sevek, there was, but not in the compound. And as a matter of fact, the townsfolk, people were like, "Hey, we can do our magic again. Their components are working," you know, normal sorts of things. But you find that actually, in something like a streak of area, more or less due west to west northwest. So
Okay.
going westward out of the city with a tiny slant north, there's a band of no magic.
And does that band follow the direction of the flow of the river?
It
Of
follows
water?
the direction of the flow of the stream of water that's running through your compound.
It also follows the rough direction that we took back from Zip.
And it follows the rough direction that they took back from Zevek's land.
Thank goodness. I've been sitting on that theory for like 45 minutes trying to figure out. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Sorry. I'm just
Figured it out.
Wait, what theory?
I don't know.
so that all of this, like all of the magic, all the ambient magic that fuels everything is in fact laden in the water and combined with the snail thing. And that was so hilarious that you said that, Jared, because I literally seconds before you said snail, that was the image that popped into my mind, was that he was leaving a trail. He was leaving a splorch behind like a snail. But anyway, because of that effect and because it's ambient, because of the whole, what about his land? There's no magic in his whole land. He can't be exuding it everywhere, right? It has to be that it's a pervasive, saturated effect. It has to be something that extends and has momentum in its extension. So hence the whole, he dissolves water, this effect, then what? It comes back in a swath. Oh shoot.
So perhaps we have thought that the mist was everywhere all the time, but perhaps the headwaters were always bringing, and he has sucked out all of the mist from. Why the magic is so nearby?
And Zevek is being respectfully quiet. He really doesn't get what y'all are talking about because, of course, he's not seeing anything. He's just taking some dragon rides.
So fun.
Excuse me.
So how do we play into that? Like why were things different?
Well, I don't know if I see it clearly still, but I'm wondering if it will come back. If he has, I don't know. Does he take away mist that is being brought to us? Or does he bring something that makes the mist to leave forever? His path will be a path of no more magic, and that's that. Or perhaps he just drains it and it needs time to come back.
So is the
Is there
theory
not-
that Zebek was on or near to the stream that feeds into the Black City for a long period during the time that you guys were journeying here, and because of that, all of the water doesn't have its magical capacity that usually it would have?
Came the wrong direction. We didn't come from the flow of the
Oh,
water from the headwaters.
But that is the
Yeah.
direction in which the stain or the rift has appeared, right? The rift has appeared. Like if it's a dye smear, it's, Sir Robert, right? It's flowing away from the city in the flow of the water, right?
Yeah, you could say that. I'm trying to put that together. Yeah, the strip of city that doesn't have it is generally the direction of the water would flow. And that direction is kind of west. Back from the west. They came back from the west, got to the wall, went south, came in the main entrance, and camped at the stronghold.
But we went really far south, and there was no magic.
And quite far east, which he had.
But with
Yeah.
Talad,
So what? How is Talad?
well, if it is like a snail slime, then we are all wearing clothes from his land, where the whole land is slimed, and so they couldn't, because he was with them. When we left on the dragon, everyone, for some reason, not in that swath where the river is. So it seems
So
like there are two. There's something with the river and the path of the river. And then there is also something just with us and those that are from his land.
So anything that is from his land is tainted radioactively, and that radioactivity destroys the ambient water, the ambient magic in the water.
It's worth an experiment. I'm willing to wear just my pre-land clothes and walk somewhere in a direction that Zevik hasn't been and see if there's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Northeast.
If I were the only writer of this would be a point where I say something like, "I've drunk his water and I think I'm slimed all the way through to my heart. I want his land. I want our land to be like his land." But I'm not, so it could go somewhere else.
So tell me what you want to do.
I'm willing for the experiment. I think it is
Yeah.
willing for the.
Diamondback is still asleep, actually, so he's not going to suggest anything.
Just describe to me what you want to do.
And Nina steps into some dense bushes and puts herself in only her pre-Zevik clothing, and then walks in a. Let's go. We're like just barely heading east side of the city, right?
Skirts, but not the leather pants. Or yes, the leather pants. Those are kind of.
Oh,
How do you classify those?
oh, that's a good point. They've been.
I'm just going to ask about
They've
each
been
item.
blessed, yeah.
Veil and no veil.
I don't think the veil had any particular blessing.
Okay.
I think of it as only hers. The pants did get blessed by, or whatever,
Yeah.
by,
Maybe they got disarmed by Oben.
yeah. So she would not just leave that in a pile. She would give her bundle of clothes into somebody's hands.
So no sling. Or you had a sickle and a sling, right? No, blow dart.
Blow dart, yeah.
I have a sling.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And-
would leave the weapons. I would leave the hair gems.
Mhm. All of it. Okay.
That's it.
So you're wearing what you originally had when you were a refugee, plus the veil.
Yes.
You want the dragon to take you somewhere, or do you want to walk? It'll take you a lot
I mean,
longer if you want.
if the
Should all of the three of us that went into Zevik's land swap out our clothes and stuff and then go with Nano? Or is this
Well,
just
I
the
will- I mean, if
I
the
don't
slime
think
theory
changing
works,
clothes matters, because we left and we took both pairs of clothes, presumably, and when we were gone, they could do magic. But it seems like there's something there. Yoshika's going to check for the bandage and anything else that may be there that's like
are we in the
anti-magic.
city or are we just outside?
You're in the
of it?
city.
Okay.
Okay. So let's do yours first. You just want to have the dragon fly you far away.
I like if this theory holds, I wouldn't even think far away
20
would
minutes
matter.
or
Just anywhere that he hasn't had any chance to touch
Straight
the water.
north.
Let's do it.
It's
Straight
the
north.
one direction nobody's ever had it.
Okay.
The north is the unknown part. Okay. You do that. The dragon alights. You're there. What do you do?
I
Have a great
look
time.
for mist.
Okay. There is mist all around you, but not actually all around you. It's just past where you can reach. You move forward, and
Okay.
it moves away from your fingertips
Okay.
by a couple of feet.
Okay. I would try and do a
You appear to be something like in a bubble.
I would try and blue ring thrush, red belly, flying snake, do a detect magic.
Nothing.
Okay.
Simultaneously, you were Yoshika, you said you were going to do something?
Yes, Yoshiko was going to go back and check for any, like the bandage especially, or anything he might have left behind that's like emitting anti-magic.
He slept on a mattress, sort of, just like some cloth and hay or whatever you have, right? He slept on a mat. If you want to, you could.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And you find.
Filthy, burn it.
Say that again, Dwight.
It's filthy, burn it.
Yeah, it's filthy.
No, I was going to give it to the Iron Bell.
And then you also find by the place this morning where you were doing the water, you find the one sack of water the one sack that had the water in it that he scooped up, and his now mostly dried, because you did the experiment, partially clean bandage.
Which I think was from his land, so I'm definitely going to get that. The water skins that we were testing with him.
Yeah.
Just all the stuff we were in recent contact. And take it outside the gates and
Okay. You do that, and you want to test what?
Just so that next time we try to do the portal.
Okay. You
know,
scrub it
if
clean
we
as
all-
much as you can.
If we all go again, maybe that will help that area.
Okay. You do the same experiment. I'm happy for that. You do the same experiment, and you find basically the same results. The place where you put everything outside the city gates, no magic, even though the rest of it has. No magic for a good region there. But there's magic in the city and not in the compound or to the west of it. You have what you moved his mat that he slept on, I don't know, random apple core, maybe in his room or something. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That you moved the half-filled water jug, you moved the now largely cleaned bandage, you moved the was out to the city gate.
Can we try and activate? I'm not there.
You can be
It
there.
seems like the
Whatever.
time to activate the circle. Or try.
Well, it's still not.
The compound
There's no
still doesn't
magic.
have the magic, which is where the circle is. And west of the compound still does not have magic.
What if we
But-
bring water in from other sources and dump it in the compound?
Yeah, you can. There are other parts of the city where there is magic. The water from the city comes from the mountain that gushes up from a spring deep underground, right? You take that water and it flows heavily. Once it comes out of that little bloop, the fountain gets really full of water, flows out. You can do magic there when they're gone. You can take that and you pour it into the compound, and it has no significant effect on the magic or anything. No insignificant effect you can tell either. There's no magic in the compound and not to the west of it.
And when the unzevicked water flows its way there, it behaves as though it's been zevicked.
It just is water. It doesn't do anything weird. You pour it into the water and it just mixes together. Water.
Basically, we can see mist when we can do magic, right?
That's
We don't
right.
have to constantly test. We can just wait until we see
That's right.
mist.
You do notice that every time you can do magic again, the mist sort of it doesn't flow in exactly. It's just there.
So that would mean that Inkatink could possibly make something that releases little puffs of smoke, because Zevik can separate the water and render it out into smoke. And then can Inkatink try to make something that they can spray some smoke? And
What is? Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
so
Like a atomizer?
Yeah, and then if the smoke comes out and it lingers, it's fine. And if the smoke comes out and it immediately dissipates, then there's something dissipating magic, so you can't do magic.
Yeah, you will remember perhaps from long ago. This was long time ago. The mist flows and ebbs through the land, and it passes without resistance through all materials, through the hills and through the trees. So it's not something catchable.
Right. So that means that the stuff that hissed out of the bag must have been steam then. Okay.
Or something.
Or something. Okay. All right.
So your experiment that you did, I think I misunderstood it at first. You left all your Zevik stuff behind?
Yeah, to see if
And-
an unzevicked nano,
And you could almost touch the mist.
and it kept moving away from me.
I would
I
say
am mist repellent.
I forgot how tall you were, but
Yeah,
since
you
you're
were.
like 2 or 3 feet tall, then you could see, 5 feet away from you in every direction there was mist. And if you tried to
Every direction, including the direction I came from.
everywhere,
Okay.
just a 5-foot kind of bubble around you. Sorry, 10-foot bubble around you. I'm not sure if that's radius or diameter.
By the way, Inkatink
These
runs and
people
gets
went up-
Diamondback so that Diamondback can be part of
There, and eat the food and
experimenting.
Yeah. I'm alighting over all the
wandered
experiments.
off-
Say it again, Dwight.
People wandered into Zevik's land and became filthy, and now they're spreading their filth about.
That's how it works.
I'm really digging the Mesoamerican analogy, Sir Robert. This is really cool. Thank you.
So at some point during these deliberations, Inkatink wakes up Diamondback, and Inkatink, Diamondback, the acolytes, and Arasanala head south out of the city until they can do magic. With with nobody who has been around Zebek, and nothing that has touched Zebek or been near him.
When you're 15 minutes south of the gate, sorry, no, a little further than that, Yoshka piled up Zebek's stuff at the gate. When you're a little further than that, it takes you 20, 30 minutes to get there. You can do magic again.
Great. We come back. Diamondback announces that it's time to go. We're ready to go. Everybody who wants to do magic, we split into 2 teams: Team Magic and Team No Magic. And Team No Magic has to stay 20-minute walk away from Team Magic.
It's the 20-minute peanut.
Gary raises his hand high above everyone's waist and says, "What about the infirm?"
They will go with Belvari to the garden country of the north, where they will be happy forever.
Well, boy, I don't want to go there.
Diamondback is extremely tired. He's exhausted, and it's time to go. It's been time to go all day.
What is Belvari's response to Diamondback's suggestion there?
To his horrible, I can't even think of the words. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Then not Belvari. It shall be Talid.
Actually, as generally incompetent as Diamondback may be, I think he has a point in this one. If we take some non-magic things that protected us when we were traveling through the dark area, I think we might be able to make our way back into the realm of
the hole.
Yes, back into the hole without having to deal with all the horrors inside there.
These
I would be willing
plague
to
with
take
you and go.
But we climbed that cliff for 2 days. Zevek took all of the danger upon himself, and we will be bringing infirm that way.
Oh, well, if the journey can't be made, then Diamondback goes back to sleep.
It appears that the family pet shall not be joining us on the trip.
All right.
The best
So
you could do is take them into the hole with some Zedek stuff and hope that the Zedek stuff keeps the beasts away in the hole.
Yeah.
And then you just wait it out and hope.
Oh.
Wow. What a humanitarian move.
There's a portal in there.
Oh yeah, there is.
But we didn't know how to work it.
Huh?
But we didn't know how to work it. We weren't able to work it.
So
Because
Well,
Zevik
we
was
weren't
with
able to
us.
work it because we didn't have map. Yes.
But Zevik has
But you're
been
tainted.
there too.
Oh man, it's worth a chance. Also, where would
I'm willing to try. Talon's willing to try.
That sounds like a dangerous
All right.
try.
How about this? The
Howard,
Iron Bell.
you know of another teleportation circle.
There's one at Garriott's place.
Where?
There's one that you all know about at Garrett's place.
Oh.
There's one at the
One
warehouse
in the hole.
where we got all the goodies, but we
Yeah.
don't want to go there because it's occupied.
There's one here. There's one in the wilderness where y'all found Toll after you left from Garriott's place. And Talid, you also know of the one that the Oravan use.
And there's the one that was near where Davina.
Talid is.
That one they created.
Okay.
The Dryads created.
Talon says very solemnly, I think I'd like to visit. I think I'd like to pay the Oravan a visit to get the elderly and sick back to where they belong and the damned where they should go.
Inkatink's feathers fluff and his head whips it at him, and he just gives him 2 huge thumbs up.
So Talid, you want to take all of the infirm refugees and the women and children to the Oravan.
That's the plan, yes.
Oh gosh.
Wait, but
So wait. That's where we'll leave this episode. We'll pick up next time at about 5 p.m. on the day that you left this morning. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening and playing, you guys. You can find out more about the collective, the story they're telling at Starfall Collective.